We all write things every single day. Emails, notices, quick updates. But how often do we really stop and ask ourselves, is anyone actually connecting with this? Or is my message just disappearing into the void? Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful way to make sure you're not just being heard, but that you're truly, genuinely understood.
Oh, you know that feeling, right? You spend all this time crafting the perfect email, you send out that super important notice, and then crickets. You're just left there wondering, did that even land? Did anyone even see it? It is a universal frustration for, well, pretty much anyone trying to communicate something important.
This quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. The huge difference between a message that works and one that just falls flat, it's not just the words you choose, it's about making the person on the other end feel seen, feel acknowledged. And that is exactly what we're going to figure out how to do.
So, what's the big trap that we all fall into by default? It's this idea of writing into the void. We're basically just broadcasting our message out into this big, empty space, just hoping that someone, somewhere, is actually listening.
And here's why it happens. It's because our natural starting point is our own head, right? We're so focused on what we need to say, the information we have to get out there. We get completely stuck in the writer's mindset, and we forget all about the reader.
And this slide just lays out that huge disconnect perfectly. While we're laser focused on just getting the facts out, our reader might be scanning our message in the 5 seconds they have while juggling the school pickup. We think we're just announcing a change, but for them, it's just one more thing they're trying to read over a quick cup of tea, with a million other things already on their mind. Their reality is just completely different from ours.
So how on earth do we bridge that gap? Well, it actually comes down to one really simple, but honestly profound mental shift. It's time to switch on the spotlight and really illuminate who we're actually talking to.
And this is how we do it. It's the discipline of picturing the person. This whole idea is about making a conscious choice to write for one specific imagined person, instead of some vague, faceless crowd. And look, this isn't about stereotypes. It's all about focus.
So here's what that feels like. When you write for a crowd, your message is kind of scattered, like a big blurry floodlight. But the moment you picture one person, that light becomes a sharp, focused spotlight, and suddenly everything gets clearer. Your tone, your language, the entire point of your message.
Okay, so the spotlight is on. It's shining right on our reader. Now we can finally begin the most important part of this whole thing, actually stepping into their world and trying to see things from their perspective.
And to do that, we have to get specific. We start building a clear mental picture by thinking about these kinds of things. What's their age and life stage? What's their daily routine probably look like? What do they actually care about on a practical level?
Let's make this super concrete. Imagine a notice about some overnight street work. That same message is going to land very differently for these two people. The 25-year-old renter, they're probably immediately thinking, where am I going to park, and is this noise going to wake me up? But the 75-year-old homeowner, their priority might be safety, and whether the notice is written in a clear, respectful way. Same message, totally different pressure points.
And it goes even deeper than just the practical stuff. It is so crucial to remember that every single message we send triggers an emotion, usually within the first few seconds. And our job, as good communicators, is to anticipate that reaction.
Deep down, whether they realize it or not, our readers are almost always asking one of these 3 big questions. They're looking for reassurance, is this situation fair and under control? They're curious, why is this even happening? And maybe most importantly, they're concerned. How is this going to personally affect me? Great writing answers these emotional questions before they're even fully formed.
So, what's the best way to handle those emotions and really build that connection? It's simple. You have to ground your writing in real life. You got to move away from that sterile corporate speak and use examples and stories that people can actually relate to. Here is a perfect example. Instead of just saying, new lamps are being installed, this phrasing connects that action to a real human feeling, security. That little touch makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we turn this into a skill we can use over and over again? Well, let's get practical and walk through something called the persona test.
First things first, we create our person. So everyone, meet Anne. She's 68, she lives on her own, and her main concerns are her safety and just getting clear, respectful communication. She's not a demographic, she's not a statistic, she is the person we are now writing for.
Now we just follow these simple steps. After you've built your persona, someone like Anne, you just write your message like you normally would. But then comes the most important part. You test it. You read it back, but through Anne's eyes. You ask, would Anne understand this? Does this actually address her concerns? Is the tone right for her? And then you just revise and tweak it until the answer to all those questions is a big yes.
You know, when you start using this method consistently, the transformation is it's immediate and it's so powerful. You stop being someone who just blasts out information and you become someone who truly communicates.
And this is what happens. Before, you were just broadcasting. Now, you're actually building trust. Before, your readers might have felt totally ignored. Now, they feel heard. You really do evolve from just being a writer into being a genuine communicator. So, let's just boil it all down to this simple three-part idea. First, see the human on the other side of the screen. Second, shape your message specifically for them. And when you do that, you will always, always strengthen the connection.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to take with you. The very next time you sit down to write an email, a notice, any message at all, who's going to be in your spotlight? Who will you picture?